I lost the only person I ever truly loved, and it's my fault. I watched her wait for me, believed I'd come back, and then I walked away. By the time I realized what I'd done, she had moved on. She was engaged to someone else, and I had nothing left but regret. This is the story of the girl I let go, and how one mistake ruined everything I ever wanted. I still don't know where to start. It's been years, but every time I think about her, that same sharp ache hits me in my chest. The kind that doesn't go away. Not fully, not ever. Her name was, well, she was my first everything. My first love, my first heartbreak, my first real connection. We met in high school. She went to that fancy private academy across town. One of those schools where the kids always have the newest phones, the perfect clothes, the perfect parents. And me? I was just a regular kid. Average family, average everything. No luxury, no vacations, nothing flashy. But she didn't care. I remember the day I told her I loved her. My hands were shaking so badly I thought she'd notice. I was scared out of my mind that she'd laugh, but she didn't. She just smiled, that warm, perfect smile, and said she felt the same. That night, we texted until sunrise. I didn't sleep a second. Every notification made my heart leap. I felt alive like never before. From that day on, she became my world. Our first kiss, the first movie we went to together, prom night, graduation. Every small thing felt monumental. I'd give anything to relive that year, even for just one day. Then came summer before college. I got accepted into a film program in New York City. She cried when she found out I had to leave, but she promised she'd wait. At the airport, she handed me a travel pillow and said, "So your neck doesn't get stiff while chasing your dreams." I remember thinking, she cared more about me than about anything else. I promised her I'd call every day. And I did. We Skyped almost every night. She stayed up late just to calm me down before exams. I swear I could feel her love through the screen, but slowly, quietly, things began to change. New city, new people, girls who laughed a little too loud at my jokes, smiled a little too long. Their attention felt intoxicating. And she never got jealous. She said she trusted me completely and that's when I started to drift. One night after a party, I made the worst mistake of my life. I cheated, just once. I told myself it didn't mean anything, that she'd never know, that I could somehow undo it. But guilt changes you. You start avoiding the person who deserves your love the most. I called less, texted less, until one day she asked me over the phone, quietly, almost breaking, "Do you still love me?" And I said the stupidest thing I've ever said. "I don't know. I need time to figure things out." When I came home for summer break, she cried, quietly, without begging. She just nodded and said, "Okay." I thought maybe she'd get over it. A week later, she sent me a message I'll never forget. "I'll wait for you. If you ever want to come back, I'll be here." I didn't reply. I thought staying silent would make it easier. It didn't. Months passed. She stopped texting, deleted her social media, changed her number. And me? I tried to move on, but no one compared. Every girl I met felt fake, self-obsessed, plastic. None of them had her warmth. None of them cared like she did. Then, one winter night, drunk and miserable, I asked an old friend about her. He sighed and told me she was seeing someone else. The same guy who had been chasing her while we were together. Apparently, after I left, she fell apart. She cried in class, barely spoke to anyone. And he was there for her. Gave her rides home, brought her chocolate, stayed when I didn't. I wanted to believe it was temporary, that she still loved me, that I could fix everything. So I worked like crazy, saved every cent I could, and bought her an engagement ring. A small diamond. Nothing fancy, but it was all I had. I thought, this is it. I'll go back. I'll apologize. I'll propose. I'll make things right, just like in the movies. When I got home, I went straight to her house. She came to the door, hair a little shorter, eyes tired, but still breathtaking. I handed her flowers, told her everything. How sorry I was, how I still loved her, how I wanted to spend my life with her. She cried. I thought it meant yes, but then, she whispered quietly, almost in defeat, "It's too late." She told me she'd been engaged for a month. To him. Their families were close. Their parents had already planned the wedding. And then she said something that, it broke me. I was as happy waiting for you as you were walking away from me. I stood there, staring, nothing I could say. She smiled sadly. You'll find someone someday, but please, disappear from my life. I handed her the flowers anyway, hiding the ring in the little box. She didn't open it. I walked away that night and I never saw her again. Years later, I still dream about her sometimes. Not the girl who got engaged. The girl who waited at the airport, holding that silly neck pillow, waving through tears, believing I'd come back. Sometimes I wake up and wonder, what if I hadn't? What if I had stayed true? What if I hadn't made the worst mistake of my life? I guess some people we let go are gone forever, and sometimes so are we.
I engaged in a long distance relationship when I was 15. Though several states away, we managed to talk several times a day, every day. Her name was Sara, and she was the first girl I ever told, I love you. Through countless phone cards and several months, I remember making a big deal of our 6th month. Would talk for hours at a time, just laughing at the stupid stuff we would say. One day, the inevitable happened, and Sara broke up with me. She cited several vague reasons, and I finally asked if there was someone else. She said there was, which I found comforting. At least there was someone to be there with her, like I couldn't. Heartbroken, but consoled, I told her she was welcome to call me anytime she wanted. 2 months and as many conversations with her later, she calls me. I'll always remember it. My family and I were eating dinner, and my mom answered the phone. She looked at me and said, "It's Sara." I was a little shocked and excused myself from the table. I ran around the house to find a cordless that worked and took it upstairs. I hadn't spoken to her in at least a month and was anxious to hear what she had to say. When I picked up and my mom hung up on the other end, I could hear that she was crying. She told me that she was in the final stages of her battle with leukemia. There was no other boy, she told me. She had only wanted to spare me the experience of losing her. She explained very little, just that she wanted to talk to me again and say goodbye. After hanging up the phone, I just sat there and cried. I'm 24 now, and I still have trouble dealing with this. I have no idea what actually happened because I couldn't get a hold of anyone at the number or the address. It's possible that she was just trying to sever contact with me by fainting a terminal illness. Sounds like a bad sitcom now that I say it. But to 15-year-old me, she died in a bed and I couldn't be there for her. My imagination was consumed with the feeling of loss. To this day, I can't watch A Walk to Remember. Fuck that shit. It's 6 in the morning, and I've just gotten off of work 2 hours prior. I've had a couple of beers, and under any other circumstances, I wouldn't have shared this story. For some reason, I thought it would be therapeutic. It wasn't really.
When I was 14, I fell in love with my best friend Amanda. We were together 24/7. We were adorable. We'd never leave each other's side. A few years pass and we get a call that her mother had overdosed and passed away. We were 16 and my parents let her stay with us. We planned out our entire life together. We were going to move when we were 18, get married and have kids. We were going to be together forever. Well, that did not happen. It was the day after her 18th birthday. I got a nice room at a hotel in Reno and figured we could walk around and see everything. We were from a small town. My mom decided that we could take her car and we started the long drive. About 3 hours into the drive, I got rear-ended on the freeway. The car spun out sideways and the front driver's side slammed into a ditch, causing the car to completely flip. I didn't have a seatbelt on and went out the back passenger window. I woke up. There was dust everywhere. I didn't see her. I look back and see the car upside down and tires still spinning. I ran over and crawled back into the car and tried to get her to wake up. There was blood and broken glass everywhere. I can still smell and taste the dust of the airbag and the blood in my mouth. She never moved. I laid there by her side until I passed out. I woke back up in the hospital with everyone around me. They kept having to push me down and tell me not to move. I had to find her. I had to know she was okay. No one would answer me. They told me to stay calm, that I had fractured my skull, and I needed to be still. They gave me a shot and I was out. 4 days later, I woke up, I could barely move. That's when my parents came in and told me she had died right then and there in the car. The first response team told my parents that I had been found inside the car holding her hand. I have prayed every night since then, 3 years ago, but it feels like yesterday, for God to give her back to me. To this day, I know that it wasn't my fault, but I still can't come to terms with it. I lost more than a girlfriend that day. I lost part of my own life along with her. There was this girl, let's call her Rachel, I met in college. She was smart and had the best smile that really accentuated the freckles on her face. I met Rachel through some friends, and we all had group events where I would be able to get to know her better. After doing my research and seeing that she did not list herself in a relationship and had no boyfriend hanging around her during the events, I decided to ask her out on Valentine's Day. I took a day going to the city and buying some expensive chocolates from a well-known store. I called her up and arranged a dinner with just the two of us on the day before Valentine's Day. And then a week before that fateful day, I went out with Rachel and her friends to an ice cream shop. I wasn't in the same car with Rachel when one of her friends blurted out, "Oh, did you all know Rachel has a boyfriend, but she never talks about it?" Bam, world implosion. The best I could do was to remain semi-calm and try to pry some information. It turns out Rachel never talks about her boyfriend or lists herself in one on Facebook because he has the same name as her brother. He's also 3 years older, and they have a long-distance relationship, so I have never seen him before. That and he's coming over on Valentine's Day to spend time with her. So we arrive at the ice cream shop with everyone. There wasn't much I could do since I was in shock, so I decided to do the ice cream challenge and stuff my face with 3 pints of ice cream. That was not too satisfying physically or emotionally. Then the day before Valentine's Day came, and I still had the dinner arranged with her. During the dinner, we did have some small talk, and then I mentioned her boyfriend. Rachel talked about it a bit, and then mentioned, "Oh, you're such a great guy. I would date you if I were single." And there goes my confidence. It started raining as we left, and I walked her back with my umbrella. I gave her the chocolates, but I was not able to tell her how I felt. When she went into her building, I turned around, closed my umbrella, and walked home in the rain.